evening. My name is Austin Hound. Tonight I'm going to be giving you my presentation on Skills Project Module 3 about what communication skill I chose to work on. And as you can see, listening skills is the communication skill that I chose to work on. Here we have the anatomy of an ear, and over here we have another ear, and I have both these pictures to represent hearing and listening, and the difference between the two. Hearing, just a physiological, audible process that happens within the body, which I find much more easier than doing actual listening, which involves me paying attention, being aware, and putting in conscious, sustainable effort in order to be effective. So with that, I'd like to talk about forms of non-listening, which impede my ability to be a good listener. And so I've started out with pseudo-listening, which is the most severe, which basically means I do this the most. Now, pseudo-listening for me is I look like I'm paying attention, but I'm not paying attention. And that's a problem for me, especially when it comes to work, because I'm learning something new, it's a new job, and inevitably my managers and my coworkers, they think that I just don't really care that much. And as a result, it reflects upon me poorly and my performance. So, moving on to moderate, we have selective listening, which I believe I do a fair amount, however, not nearly as much as pseudo-listening. And what happens with this is I end up listening to select parts of a conversation, and I listen to maybe the important stuff, maybe not the important stuff. The fact is, since I'm not listening to half the information, I really don't know what I've missed. Especially if I'm talking to somebody that I don't really know that well. They might be trying to tell me something that's important to them, and I might just be blowing it off. So moving on to mild, we have monopolizing, which I believe I do very little. However, I have caught myself doing it ever since discovering what monopolizing is due to reading our textbook. And I wanted to work on this one because I believe monopolizing is the most offensive to the people that I have conversations with. Mostly in my personal life, close friends and family. And that's just because, when I monopolize, they try to tell me something important and I completely blow them off and I end up rewriting a conversation and talking about something that relates to me. Or it could be a topic that's totally unrelated to what they were talking about. Either way, it tells them that I wasn't listening, and at the end of the day, it tells them I don't care. And I end up being rude and disrespectful. So with that, I chose monopolizing so that I can hopefully eliminate that from a practice of non-listening. Now, on to the next slide, I have active listening. And I chose these three because I believe they will help me counteract the forms of non-listening that I engage in the most right now. And the first one I have is paraphrasing, which I find the most effective for myself, and I use it the most often. And what this is I basically just rephrase what the person has said to me to provide clarification. And while this helps me understand what they're talking about more, it also helps me tell them that I'm listening what they have to say, i.e., I care, I'm engaged. So the next one I'd like to talk about is mindfulness. And mindfulness helps with pseudo-listening a lot, because when I'm not listening to them, because I'm pseudo-listening, my mind's usually drifting off somewhere. And mindfulness helps me catch it when I'm drifting off. I can bring it back. And therefore, when I'm pseudo-listening, I can't practice paraphrasing. So mindfulness helps me stop pseudo-listening and helps me engage in the ability to paraphrase even more. Now, building off of paraphrasing is asking questions, which provides the same effect for me, just in a different manner. And asking questions, can be asking them to talk at more length about something, to go into more detail, or to just, keep talking about whatever it is they're talking about. And this is the same thing as paraphrasing, as in tells them that I am engaged in what they're talking about and I would like to hear more. And questions, I could also ask for clarification as well. So now at the end of the day, when it comes to paraphrasing, whether or not I understand really doesn't matter. And asking questions, I believe asking questions that are relevant to what the other person was talking about or what need to be asked. So as long as I stick within that realm, I believe that I am improving upon my active listening skills. And I've seen a difference, especially in the workplace, and mostly there because I'm there 40 hours a week and it's a new job and I'm learning how to do new things. So with that, that's the end of my presentation, and I hope you guys found it helpful, and maybe you can use some of these active listening skills that I've implemented in my life to help yourself. So, but other than that, hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I'll see you next time.